all of you guys know, my channel, grew because of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I was in support of the fandom. I was in support of the release of the Snyder Cut. You guys know, even to be a fact, I know some people don't believe me, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is my favorite movie of all time. So this video is going to be a little bit of a touchy one. I know my channel is kind of divided. I tend to like being open-minded. I like having all kinds of fans here on the channel, as long as you're not harassing anyone, as long as you're not sexist, racist, misogynist, whatever. As long as you're not in any of those categories, you're always welcome here on the channel, whether you are or not a Snyder fan. You're always more than welcome here. But one thing I'll always clarify is I'm going to be as honest as I can. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. That depends on the facts that come out. But I'll always give you guys my honest perspectives on each and every take, so I want to keep that in mind. Yes, I am going to be a little biased because at the end of the day, I'm a Snyder fan. So what? If I'm biased, then who cares? At the end of the day, I can't change my biases. I just, to some of y'all don't like the movie. That's cool. Y'all are going to be biased against Zack. To me, I like the Snyder movies, so I'm going to be biased towards loving Zack's movies. So at the end of the day, I'll be straight up about that. I love Batman vs. Superman. I love Man of Steel. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. So let's read the direct article saying that apparently some Warner Bros. Some people within Warner Bros. Regret Zack Snyder's Justice League release. Now, John Campy kind of summed it up here good, so I'm going to actually read it from there. This is coming from the direct. This is the exact words. I read the entire article. I just don't want to read it again in video, but let's at least read this part. In a recent report about DC's future challenges with Warner Bros. Discovery, Variety revealed that studio insiders have shared regret over the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max in 2021. Instead of silencing the grassroots online campaign to hashtag release the Snyder Cut, the outlet's sources claim that the 4-hour HBO Max feature only further entrenched the Snyderverse fan base against the leadership at the studio and at DC in particular, leading Warner Bros. Insiders to lament that Zack Snyder's Justice League never should have happened. In a related report from Rolling Stones, the outlet claimed that the new heads of Warner Bros. Discovery have no intention of reviving the Snyderverse or partnering with director Zack Snyder in the future. Now let me get to my takes, whether they're hot or cold, whatever. At the end of the day, they're my takes. I'm gonna be straight up right now. This is something I haven't been very vocal about. As a Snyder fan, I feel a lot of times I'm treated as lesser just for being a Snyder fan by my fellow DC fans. There'll be often times where I'll talk about what my favorite Batman is, and the minute I bring up Ben Affleck, immediately my opinion is diminished. I've had that a lot in my own past. In fact, I've even had people tell me that I don't understand DC, even though I grew up my entire life reading DC comics, watching DC animated movies and shows and all that. So as a Snyder fan, I myself have felt personal attacks. I do take it personal when somebody says I don't understand a certain franchise or property. At the end of the day, like there's some things I'll say I don't understand. Like for example, I don't understand the Harry Potter mythos. I didn't read the books. I don't understand the Lord of the Rings books. I've never read them. I've only watched movies. I don't understand the extreme lore of Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but I've only ever seen the movies, the animated shows. I've never read any of the extended universe books or anything like that. But when it comes to Marvel and DC, but specifically DC, I grew up loving DC. Okay, and when I hear people say that I don't understand DC, to me it feels like a personal attack. It just does. That's just my feelings. I'm sure some of y'all feel the same way if I said that about whatever your favorite movie is. That's how it felt. And even in fact, a couple of months ago, somebody made a video claiming that I'm an anti-Snyder fan and that I'm not really a Snyder fan and that I'm pretending to be a Snyder fan just for views, when in fact, that's a complete lie. I'm a big Zack Snyder fan. You can ask anyone that knows me personally that I nonstop talk about this movie. In fact, just looking at the background of my room, the only poster here that is framed is Batman vs. Superman, because I think that's my favorite poster, and that's, of course, a Zack Snyder movie. Then I have a Zack Snyder poster back there. I mean, look right there, Restore Snipers. I've had that for over a year on the channel. But let me give my thoughts on this. First of all, I do not know if the numbers have come out. I don't know if HBO Max has released any numbers. I don't know the exact statistics, so I'm not going to pretend like I know the exact statistics. But I'll say this, and I've said this from the very beginning when the Snyder Cut was going to get released. I said, you only release the Snyder Cut if you're planning on continuing the Snyderverse. Because I'm sorry, you should know better. You knew what this movie was beforehand. You watched the movie before any of us. Warner Bros. Should have known what this movie was building up to, what it's leading to. And I felt like it was a little stupid to be like, like especially Walter Matthau. I feel like it's stupid to release the movie and then not continue it, especially with these, like the Joker scene, with the Apocalypse scene, the Dark Side promotion, Dark Superman in the future. I think it's a silly, like if you, like one thing that is true, the Snyderverse fandom gained, and like the voice of the Snyder fandom became far more larger after the Snyder Cut got released. And in fact, I'll even say this: the Snyder fandom got more toxic after the movie got released. Because I've seen people harass others just for not liking the Snyder Cut. Because this is the thing, the art community, the Zack Snyder fandom began as a small little community of DC fans who loved BVS, who loved Man of Steel, who loved these previous movies, and we were hearing about all the stuff happening behind the scenes of Justice League and how we felt like morally Zack Snyder got fucked. Zack Snyder was trashed, turned to the curb, and morally it was wrong. And that's where our fandom grew. Our fandom was a small little group, and I've been in the fandom since I think it was early 2018 that the fandom really started when Justice League came out, but overall it started pumping out more after 2018, and then it became far more popular in 2019, and then 2020 that's when we reached our peak. And our fandom was so great. It was wonderful. We were welcoming people outside. There was people who didn't like Zack Snyder's work that wanted to support us because we were supporting suicide prevention. We were trying to release this film of a director that was treated poorly and was treated harshly. There was a lot of people who came in support of our fandom. But after the Snyder Cut got released and now became Let's Restore Snyderverse, and some people were like, look, I think everyone has a right to have their opinion. Some people believe it's not going to happen because it does seem that way. And then there are other people who believe it's going to happen because, why release this movie if you're not going to continue. So I understand both sides. My perspective is I think there is a chance the Snyderverse will get restored. I don't think it's a likely chance, but I think there's a chance. Because at the end of the day, I'm not an insider. I'm not a scooper. I don't work within Warner Bros. So I'm not going to pretend like I know the answer. But all I can say, and this is what I've been saying to every Snyder fan out there, including myself, is that we need to put our hope in. We need to hope. We got to put hashtag restore Snyderverse, but at the same time, we got to look out for other fans. If you see another fan harassing another fan, call them out. At the end of the day, if you want the community to improve, you got to call out the BS within the community. This happened to me. When I gave the Suicide Squad a good review, I had a lot of my own subscribers message me. I had a lot of people who support this channel tell me that they're unsubscribing because I supported a non-Snyder movie, just because my entire channel was based on Snyder, on the fandom and everything. And then all of a sudden I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go support other DC movies. I'm still going to continue that. I'm going to go support Black Adam. I'm going to go support the Batman 2 when it comes out. The Flash, Aquaman. I'm going to keep supporting DC movies because at the end of the day, I'm a bigger DC fan than I am a Snyder fan. I love Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder's iteration of the characters is the best I've ever seen. Again, Zack Snyder's Justice League is my favorite movie, and I think it's the peak of DC. And I know some of y'all are going to agree or disagree, but whatever. But about this article, they aren't wrong when you say that. I mean, how many people did you hear saying, we want the heads of Toby Emmerich, we want the heads of Walter Amada? I know to a lot of you guys that seems like a joke. It's all right. I understand if you guys think it's funny. But at the end of the day, that sounds like a death threat to them. Okay? You don't want somebody saying, oh, I want to chop off your head because you're evil and cruel. There was a lot of harassment. There was a lot of bullying. And I'm gonna say this right now. If you do any of those things, if you harass any of these other creators at Warner Bros., whether you agree with their decisions or not, whatever, I don't care. You are not a Snyder fan. Is that gatekeeping? Okay, I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm not going to accept you if you're harassing others. And another thing I don't want you to do is harass people who just didn't like the movie. All right? Nobody's wrong. All film is subjective. If somebody liked a movie or didn't like a movie, no, who cares? At the end of the day, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect me. So why get so mad about somebody else liking a movie? And the reason why I hate any time I talk negatively about the fandom. What I hate is that everyone says, but what about the good stuff we done? What do you think I've been talking about for the last 2 years? I've been talking more about how good the fandom is, and I still think this fandom is largely positive. Every fandom has this toxicity, but guess what? I'm in the Snyder fandom, so I got to call out my toxicity. Because at the end of the day, Snyder fans are going to listen to other Snyder fans. That's a normal thing. Star Wars fans are going to listen to Star Wars fans. Marvel fans are going to listen to Marvel fans. But that's the thing that does frustrate me. And the reason why these hit pieces, articles are now coming out is because you are seeing a lot of people getting frustrated with the fandom. I don't agree with a lot of these hit pieces. The Rolling Stone one that came out a couple of months ago, I don't agree with that one. I don't agree with You know, a lot of the stuff saying that the Snyder fandom entirely is bots. I don't know. I don't agree with all that. I think has been some BS things that come out, but I also think the Snyder fandom has gained a level of sensitivity that I don't think I've ever seen from any fandom besides the Fandom Menace. I don't think I've ever seen such a group of fans that just, you know, want to act as if we're little babies and all that. And I've seen that a lot in the fandom. I'm not saying it's everyone. I'm just saying it's a certain minority. And again, hear me out. Minority. I'm not saying majority. I'm saying minority. But about the article, again, I don't know the stats. I don't know the statistics. At the end of the day, Warner Bros. Or not Warner Bros. AT&T invested 70 million. Was it worth it? I would say it is. At the end of the day, they got a large amount of subscriptions from HBO Max. A lot of people kept rewatching the movie. It gained, I would say, at the beginning stage of HBO Max, it was the most popular thing. You know, it was the thing of HBO Max. At the time, HBO Max didn't really have much besides maybe you could say Lovecraft County or Country. I can't remember. Uh, I believe that. Wait, did that show come out by the time Zack? I don't remember when the show came out, but I believe it came out before Zack Snyder's Justice League. I could be wrong, but Zack Snyder's Justice League was the main thing when you went into HBO Max. There's a lot of people who went into support of it. So many watch parties, so many views. So I would say again, I'm not in Warner Bros. I'm not. I'm not in the company. I would say maybe it was successful. I mean, from what I saw outside looking in, it looked like it was a success. But I don't know. I do agree on one thing. I think if you weren't planning on doing future movies, then you shouldn't have released it because it's a movie that teases future events, you know? And also think one of the stupidest things is the president of DC, Walter Hamada, he shouldn't have come out and said it was a cul-de-sac because I think by that moment, I feel like things changed. If Warner Bros. Had decided to stay silent, I feel like a lot of the actors, not a lot of actors, a lot of the producers would probably have been a little more safe. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with the toxicity. I do think it's affected our community negatively. I've even seen people who used to be Snyder fans contact me and message me saying how they miss the good old days because the fandom has grown much larger, and when it grows much larger it becomes a little more toxic. Again, I'm somebody who was around the beginning times of the fandom, and I remember it was different. It was different. We used to want new people to come into our fandom. Now it doesn't feel that way anymore. Now it feels like we're trying to isolate everyone because we feel. I mean, we did the impossible. By the way, let's give ourselves a round of applause. We did the impossible. We were able to get a movie that was never supposed to see the light of day, and we were able to get it on its full raw footage, 4 hours, and we were able to get that entire film now available on HBO Max, on Blu-ray, which I just remember I have a Blu-ray copy over there, on whatever, even on streaming platforms like I think Apple. You can go on Apple, Google Play. You can now download the movies whenever you want. Just a quick snap of a finger. We won. We won. But every win comes with a cost. And that cost was our soul, our fandom soul. It came with that. It came with the price. I'm not saying the Snyder fandom didn't have some toxicity before, but I'll definitely say it rapidly grew after the movie came out. Because I do think it came with a certain entitlement. It came with a little certain entitlement. And in life, when you spoil somebody, they then feel entitled. You know, if you raise your kid, you never punish him, you never get him in trouble, and you basically just let him do whatever he wants, he's going to end up growing entitled. And that kind of happened with the fandom. We grew entitled. And when I've spoken out on it, I've been labeled a fake Snyder fan. I've been labeled toxic myself. I've been said that I'm lying and that I'm a fake Snyder fan and I only pretend to be a Snyder fan for views. I've had that. And during that time period, I learned, I understand why people are exhausted of this fandom. People used to support the community no longer want to. It's the truth. A lot of people want to hide it under a rug. If you smash a glass vase, you're not going to hide the glass under the rug because eventually it's going to stab somebody. And look what happened to our fandom. It stabbed us. A lot of people are offended by this article. I didn't think the article was really all that bad. Again, I don't know the numbers. I don't know any statistics. From what I've seen outside, it seems like a lot of good things came out. But one thing that is objective is a lot of harm came to it. If you're a Snyder fan and you feel upset by my comments, it's alright. You're more than welcome to comment. I'm somebody who believes in freedom of speech, and if you disagree, agree, I don't mind it. You're more than welcome to comment. Uh, what I just don't want is people harassing others for not liking a movie, harassing others for just being with involved with Warner Bros. At the end of the day, a large part of what I loved about this community is we were about accountability over entertainment, especially when the Ray Fisher stuff came out. We were supporting Ray Fisher and all that, but now it just no longer feels like that. It just feels like people only care about the entertainment because, at the end of the day, it's the only thing that benefits us. If Ray Fisher wins a lawsuit against Joss Whedon, it doesn't benefit any of us. If Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 comes out, it does benefit us. We get something in return. And I'm not saying you shouldn't feel that way. At the end of the day, that's normal. Like, okay. I don't know. A lot of things frustrate me. And I don't think this article was all that wrong about the fandom. I've seen the toxicity firsthand. And I'm saying this as a Snyder fan myself. And I don't want to say this. You really think I want to say these comments? No, I don't. But I have to. Because if I want the fandom to improve, then I gotta be able to take the bullet.